Alrighty, awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Welcome to the first game of the first set of the day. This is group stages for King of the Desert 4. For Group B, I think, the first round. In the red, we have ACCM playing as the Berbers. Alrighty. And in the blue, we have JorDan playing as the Sicilians. Wow. I've actually not gotten to cast JorDan before, I think. Only once. Gonna be new for me too. of course, JorDan has been back for a while, and he's definitely proven. I must say, like, JorDan, as the legendary player that he is, his comeback has proven the most successful, I would say. You know, with the coming in second in a certain big tournament that I should actually not spoil for y'all recently. Then also making it right into Red Bull World 5 as well. Even if he didn't win there, it's still, you know, he's still right there. Honestly, that's the stuff of good comebacks is made from. Now, if you hang on with me, let me get this corrected here, because this is a best of 5, and I'm also gonna up the sound. No, that's all correct. Comment volume, blah blah. That should be fine. Okay, let's go back. There we go. And how you doing, Pablo? Good to see you, man. Yay, my regulars are here. Now I'm happy. I'm very happy we can get this party started. Alright. Well, if just let me know if the sound is okay for you guys. It might be a little bit soft or something like that. I can always up the sound a little bit. In any case, let's have a look at the map, shall we? Because we are gonna be playing on King of the Desert 4 all day. You know, because that's what the map of the tournament is like. And I already noticed in a lot of generations, you get this kind of a bowl shape. Do you see that? With all the hills kind of around your TC on all sides in most cases. Not so much for JorDan, as you can see, but as a result, he also has woodlines that are further away. So, you know, it has its trade-offs and things like that. Pablo says, I have to change my Twitch name. What you gonna change it to, man? How else would I recognize you? As ACCM brings in his elephant. Perfect stuff. So we have back berries for ACCM on a hill, though, so that's still tricky. Also back gold, but still, having it to the back is still better than to the front. Neo Fidel Castro. Well, okay, no, I will still recognize you then. How foolish of me, lol. Well, I mean, you at least that you fit with the rest of your team, huh? That's kind of it's kind of nice, you know. You're all very recognizable to me, at least. What was I saying? All right, you're right. Back resources are good. That's true, huh? Now, of course, I always take it with a bit of grain of salt when people say, "Oh, back resources are perfect" and things like that. Because, in all honesty, depending on how you wall, back resources aren't safer than forward resources. Only in that it takes the enemy about 5 seconds longer to get to them, right? I mean, an archer attacking here, 5 seconds later is here. The only way to make this different is if you wall the front of your, the back of your base. In that case, it becomes very safe. So, but again, it's easier to keep the pressure out, I suppose, with back resources. I got some stone on a hill. Definitely something that the Berber player will be interested in thinking about. Of course, if you want to go for camel archers, although against Sicilians, not so sure if that's going to be your unit of preference. I think camel is probably the way to go, even though you're up against Sicilians, you know, those bastards that negate half of your bonus damage on their units for the very reason that they're just Sicilians. That's just why they do it. Just Sicilian things, I guess. You know, when people in Sicily are born, their moms are like, okay, you have to negate half of the bonus damage from your opponents against you, otherwise you cannot be a Sicilian. In any case, we got some faraway woodlines, as I said, for JorDan. They seem to be a bit further away than they are for ACCM, right? Like, they seem closer for ACCM than here, but that might just be an optical illusion. Might just be me. In any case, what is not me is the fact that these gold spots for JorDan are going to be rough, because it's all forward. Every single one of them. And that's always a problem, because if you get pushed off of this gold, very unlikely that you get to take that gold. So, we'll see. In any case, it's going to be scouts for JorDan, not just the normal 20 pop scouts. It's not on gold ACCM. Seeing that town center in time is not going to run into it, but he is already scouting JorDan, so has some information at that. JorDan, though, has pushed in most of his zebra. As you can see, Not hasn't really scouted ACCM yet at all. So he doesn't know what ACCM is gonna go for. Now it should just be scouts for ACCM as well. At least I am not seeing any indication to the contrary. He's not on the gold or anything like that. And yeah, that should be a barracks coming up in a second because that wasn't up yet. I don't know what it was, but yeah, for some reason sometimes the whole wood macro in a game could it's very tight sometimes with the scout build, but yeah, he's gonna get the barracks up just in time, and then he should have enough wood. I should think so. Let's see what's JorDan. Okay, he's scouting around. He now sees that house, so at least he knows a little bit about where to send his scouts. And then we gotta ask, which is better? Is it Berbers or Sicilians? Well, I mean, their scouts are basically the same, except that when Sicilians when you send spearmen in the field to counter Sicilians, their spearmen are going to absolutely wreck your scouts, whereas your spearmen are going to do kind of pinprick your opponent, basically. Now, interesting also is that ACCM is walling up a lot, but this is dangerous though. If JorDan finds that villager right there, it's exposed, that could die. Remember that this scout can kill a loomed villager now. ACCM also not getting spearmen out, whereas JorDan has gotten a spearman out to protect himself. ACCM probably wants to commit to the walls, just get those up, and then he can just go fight with scouts in the field, as JorDan is still scouting around. More scouts coming out now for ACCM, while JorDan is doing the same at home. Although he does have, he has 3 villagers queued right now, so he can't actually make another scout. Well, we'll see how that goes in a second. Of course, with a scout build like this, your main goal at the start of the game is to immediately add as many farms as you can. But because ACCM has walled a lot, right? This does take quite a bit of wood. Not just because the palisade walls have become more expensive. It's just because walling like this just is gonna cost you. And I hope there's not a hole here. I think if there's a hole, I think JorDan will probably find it with his scout if he clicks outside of the wall. So. We'll see. In any case, you want to get your farms up as fast as possible, and there they go. Some farms coming up for JorDan as well, because you need to afford a scout production. And ACCM is ahead with the scouts, but because the farms are delayed, now he's gonna, JorDan's gonna catch up with with his own scout count. Although JorDan is also walling. So both players probably looking to keep their base a little bit safer than normal. Don't just want to have scouts run in, and both players are keeping their scouts at home as well. So it's a more defensive game so far. And it makes sense as well because it's game 1, right? It's game 1. Even though JorDan and ACCM will know each other as players, it's still first game of the day. You might be a bit nervous nonetheless because it's tournament stuff. And you might, you just want to test the water a little bit, see how is my opponent going to do. I don't want to take any obscene risks here. Anyway, ACCM does come forward with his scouts. Of course, JorDan can easily pop out his scouts in response to that. And ACCM will have to run away from the spearman as well, because he is not Sicilians. He doesn't really have any bonuses right now. If you really look at Berbers, I think we can all agree that the time to shine for Berbers is Castellate. At least that's my opinion, but I think that if you look at their civ bonuses, that is, that would not be an incorrect statement. That's when your cavalry gets cheaper. It's when you can make a whole lot of knights and camels. That's just where the good stuff happens. Now, because of the way JorDan has walled, ACCM can't really run in here without taking damage on his scouts. And the problem is, if he does that, then the scouts from JorDan can easily clear him up. Although JorDan has... Yeah, he has the same number of scouts, but, yeah, I don't know. I guess both players just gonna kind of play it safe and just go up the castles here. I mean, you see that ACCM wants to idle some economy. Now is forcing. Okay, he's baiting. He wanted to know how many scouts are in there, actually. How many scouts did you make? So both players made 4 scouts, but JorDan made a few spearmen. So technically, ACCM should be ahead in the food count. He is, though. He is. As he loses his scout now, so I'll just have to run away. That's 4 full HP scouts. ACCM scouts are rather weak, but I don't think JorDan scouts are going to do all that much here because, well, it's Waller Arabia, as they call it. His ACCM now makes a spearman, but I'm going to guarantee to you that these scouts are still going to win this. This is Sicilians, right? These scouts could easily kill that spearman. Maybe not 2, but 1 spearman is not a problem. Even without upgrades, I'd say. But yeah, both players basically don't have a means to attack each other now. So it's just going to be some scouts for scouting, map control. That's probably what ACCM is doing right now as well. Just scouting the map a little bit more, getting some more information. Because he knows JorDan is not going aggressive here. I don't need to attack anything. JorDan is probably just looking for a hole. He might just attack the walls here and there. But he's not gonna do all that much damage. So most of this is going to go to Castellate, which I don't think that the Sicilian player minds all too much. Yes, you're up against Berbers, but remember, they can make camels all they want to you. Your knights are still going to do okay. They're still going to do okay. Not to say that camels aren't scary for Sicilian knights. Like, in the end, you should get favorable fights with camels versus knights. Because think about it. If a Sicilian knight would consistently beat a camel, that would be pretty OP, wouldn't it? That would be pretty OP. I'm not actually sure what the stats are on it. I think with 2 Sicilian knights, you could easily kill a camel, obviously. But, yeah. But yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive as both players click up at around exactly the same time, too. Look at that. The time is, like, completely identical as well. I think ACCM was just, like, a microsecond before JorDan. I'm not sure, actually, but it doesn't matter. As both players now kind of trading scouts. But yeah, ACCM should not win that scout fight because his scouts are way weaker. Upgrades coming in for both players as well. JorDan already has some upgrades here with the attack upgrade coming in now. But ACCM is getting Bloodlines as well. Yeah, Bloodlines also coming in for JorDan. So both players probably going to continue with the Knight play. The extra stable attests to that. The amount of villagers on gold, 8. Yeah, that's a good number of villagers. Let's see, another stable for ACCM. But only 2 stables for both players. So that doesn't tell us whether it's an all-in play or not. And I don't think in this situation all-in would be wise, right? I mean, on a pro level at least, your villager idle time is going to be so similar. It's only 5 seconds for both players, basically, right? It's going to be very similar. You're going to be exactly at the same level as your opponent. And the only reason that JorDan's score is higher is because his KD is higher and his scouting of the map is looking immaculate. Look at that. ACCM scouting a bit more limited, right? He has fewer units scouting. So that's why JorDan's score is so much higher. The rest are they're exactly the same. So JorDan is going to drop a gold. I like this gold on his town center on his gold. This is really important, by the way, because remember JorDan's golds? Bad golds. Very bad golds. You don't want to drop a town center here just yet either, because knights are... It's less safe, right? When you have knights roaming, enemy knights roaming your base, than archers. Like I always say, if you have knights in your against you, TCing outside of your walls is risky, because knights can 15 knights with upgrades could easily kill a town center, right? And if you're not in time to save it, you're just gonna lose a whole lot of vills. So this is a risky TC. Right, this is a risky TC, but honestly, because the Berber player is likely to be the one with the most military out in Castellates, because of that, the fact that their units are cheaper, it wouldn't surprise me if ACCM will be able to put enough pressure on JorDan to keep JorDan away from his base. Not for now, though, as potential light gap gets sniped here. The thing is, actually keeping your scouts alive, not the worst idea, because if you look what's coming on the map for both players, it's monks. And that's going to be a thorn in the side for both players here, as ACCM is making predominantly camels. I think with Berbers, you still want to make a lot of knights, right? Like, Sicilian knights are not better than your opponent's knights, as ACCM taking a fight. Let's see how camels stack up against Sicilian knights. Sicilian knights have very little upgrades, but that is the same for camels. Both players not getting skill barding, really. Really? And as you can see, camels getting destroyed because apparently Sicilian knights are that OP. Yeah, they're barely scratching these knights. See, I think, honestly, countering Sicilians, I think the best way to do it is to make your own heavy cavalry. With Berbers as well. Like, both of you only get Cavalier, although Sicilian Cavalier, of course, get Hauberk, which makes them better. But yeah, camels are... They are a weaker unit if you look at base stats. It's really that bonus damage, the 9 bonus damage versus cavalry, that gives them more attack. But remember, that's only 4.5 now. I'm not sure how that's rounded up, if that's rounded up or down. But in any case, Camel's attack is going to be around 11, which is the exact same attack as a knight. So basically, this camel does about the same amount of damage versus a Sicilian knight as a normal knight would. Wow, that's ironic. Never really thought about that. Just think about that for a second. Like a knight for Berbers here does the same amount of net damage to a knight for a Sicilian. So basically, camels aren't really a counter anymore. Well, they are, but not against Sicilians. They basically perform as well as a Berber knight would here. I'm not sure if I'm correct in this. I think someone, maybe Spirit of the Law or something, made a video on that one. Should probably check that out. But if the stats, I mean, if what Captures is telling me here, 9 extra attack versus cavalry, then camels aren't a counter versus Sicilians in this case, because they do the same amount of damage as a knight would. And in that case, what do we prefer? We prefer the knight, because when you win with camels, and you try to raid town centers with camels will die under TCs. They will not be able to kill as many villagers because their attack is slower. Knights are way better in that regard. It's what I've been saying during the Virgo Cup cast as well. You know, like, yes, making some camels here and there is nice. It definitely helps you. But if you win the fight, you're still not going to be, you're still not going to be able to kill your opponent easily. In any case, ACCM has added 3 towns now. Like I said, these are risky TCs, right? These are risky TCs, but ACCM probably feels the need to get some more gold control. His golds are forward after all as well. Is getting his military numbers up, but JorDan is the one with the most military in the field. 5 monks already. Lots of monks. Healing up his knights as well. Not a lot of players that actually do that, but I don't think that's a bad practice at all. And bringing in some relics. Ooh, but that's a hole. That's a hole. It's going to be a photo finish. One knight distracting this side long enough. And JorDan going to wall. That's worth it. Worth it. Now you have a relic. Very nice. Sanctity in the second. First armor upgrade on cavalry coming in as well. Probably an upgrade that you want to have for sure. As we have some camels scouting around for ACCM as well. Does he see a lot of relics actually? He does see, okay, he does see this relic on the left. So because this game is very quiet so far, like both players basically not taking any damage whatsoever, right? Players have the time to gather some relics here. I mean, this game might very well go late, honestly. This game might very well go late. And it's definitely in the favor for Sicilians to get up the Imperial Age here. Like, it's definitely in their favor to get up the Imperial Age here. Not so much for Berbers. Like, all they get, like, really what the Berber Imperial Age does is get them an upgrade on their units. As ACCM gets a conversion on this knights, on one of these knights. Very nice. As he's gonna commit to another one. He's gonna get another one. No, does not get another one. Knights trampling that monk. They're still trampling this monk. Man, the Middle Ages were a barbaric time, weren't they? Actually, though, it wasn't that bad. Like, a lot of our image of the Middle Ages has been shaped by 19th century historians. Come to think of it. Well, late 18th century, early 19th century historians. The the Romantic movement would definitely not... they would not, talk bad about the Middle Ages because they love the Middle Ages. We get a conversion, another one for ACCM. Now JorDan also committed to a conversion. He's getting 2 of them as well. So both players getting their conversion. ACCM dropping a castle in front of his town, which will make this TC a lot safer. As we also have pikemen coming out now for JorDan here. And pikemen, right? Pikemen are going to be very difficult to deal with for the Berber player. And as a result, ACCM is getting out camel archers. Now, like I said, against Sicilians, camel archers maybe not the most useful, but if your opponent's going to go full pikeman, that's when they are useful. And how are you doing, Rock Knuckles? Good to see you, man. Yay, now we're all assembled. Perfect. Well, we're missing Chanchularo, that's all. Well, he might show up too later. Yeah, both players around a similar army count, but of course pikemen are cheaper, so JorDan can make a lot more of them. And evidently, he wants to switch into some infantry as well, and it's going to be difficult for the Berber player to deal with unless he gets some camel archers out. Now, the thing with Berbers is because all their units are so dirt cheap, right? Going for a combo army like this, not impossible. Like they always say in 1v1s, don't go double gold unit, right? because it's too much gold. But if you have a discount like Berbers, this is actually doable. This is actually doable. I also like how ACCM has built lots of houses around for vision. You know, this kind of stuff gives him a little bit of vision, but he should get down watched. You know, that makes this more effective. As JorDan clicks up the imp, and like I said, it is in the interest of the Sicilian player, who's at 109 villagers versus 106 villagers. Both players have not taken any damage whatsoever. It is in the interest of the Sicilian player to get imp here, because that's when they get Hallberg on their knights. That makes their knights basically practically impervious to arrow fire. With 8 pierce armor, is it? I think so. 8 pierce armor is crazy. And also, that's when they can get their strong siege out. And Halberdier siege pushes are still difficult for Berbers to deal with. It is. You know, even though you have camel archers, a mass of Halberdiers, it's really difficult to deal with. You kind of have to spam a whole bunch of hussars in front of your camel archers if that is to work. As JorDan wants to get a castle up on this hill in the middle, right next to ACCM, who is dropping a second castle as well. ACCM was kind of blocking the foundation, and now JorDan's own units are doing it. So the camel archers are trying to snipe the pikemen as good as possible, and I think that ACCM, you know, he might think about denying this. He has clicked up the Imperial Ace as well, so it shouldn't be a bad thing for him here. Conversion on a camel archer as ACCM tries to snipe these monks, but without ballistics, of course, it's a bit more difficult than it should have been, as the second armor upgrade only now coming in for JorDan. It's actually funny to me how, you know, like normally, like if I go to the next stage, I definitely get the first armor upgrade for cavalry, and I usually get the second upgrade as well, somewhere in the middle if I can afford it, right? Pro players like to skip it. You see, ACCM didn't get it either. It's actually important that he does, because his camels definitely need that upgrade if they want to fight against these knights. Honestly, it's so funny, right? It's so funny because this feels intuitive. I'm going full knights against these camels against these knights, right? Like, that feels intuitive. JorDan runs it. I mean, ACCM runs into JorDan's economy, snipes a monk, might get a villager here and there, and those are the first eco kills of the game. And well, that number is actually getting up a bit higher now. Camel archers, of course, were made to do this, as JorDan is chasing this as well. But yeah, why I'm saying that is that even though it feels good, intuitive for the camels to do well here, these camels actually do the same amount of damage to these knights as a normal knight would. Yeah, it's because this bonus damage is cut in half. So these camels won't do well here at all. As Hallberg and now the plate bonding armor is coming in. So these knights are going to be very, very tanky in just a second here. Not so much for ACCM's knights and camels. So he definitely needs to run away from this one for now. He cannot take this fight. Cannot take this fight under any circumstances. As you can see, JorDan has already started trapping down ACCM's castle. He was delayed to Imperial 8 a little bit. Is getting a trap out right now, so the trap war can get started. In the meantime, this knight mass is chasing on the other side. And yeah, now camels are going to have a bit of a problem, because these knights will now have 6 melee armor, 8 pierce armor. They are very tanky. The best counter to this is heavy cavalry, but unfortunately for Berbers, they don't get paladin. They only get Cavalier, and just generic Cavalier at that. Yes, well, not generic because they're cheaper, but you know, yeah, I mean, they're still not going to really do well against Sicilians. Now, let's look at the extra bonus damage versus Cavalry. Okay, so now camels do, let's see, 8 plus 9 is 17 attack. See, now it's more than a knight, right? So now heavy camels are a better counter to Sicilian knights. But camels in the castleates are not a counter to Sicilian knights. That just straight up, right? Just not. Like, they do as well as Berber knights, and it seemed like that as well in the fights. So now now I like the heavy camel choice here. Like, I mean, I liked it before because it feels intuitive, but now I think it would actually help you here. Not so much against these freaking pikemen, though. As soon as the halberdier upgrade comes out, it's still difficult for Berbers to take this fight. Yeah, and ACCM, even though he hasn't taken a single bit of damage here, he actually lost 2 villagers, but I think those are the building villagers on the side. He's trying to take this fight now with heavy camels. Now, heavy camels, as the last armor upgrade comes in, but isn't in time for ACCM, as there's way less HP for him over here. Yeah, camels are kind of dying to this as well. Pikemen definitely doing a good job in here, doing some work. Camels absolutely struggle against pikemen, and especially halberdier, honestly, as more cavalry coming forward, more pikemen coming forward, and yeah, it's all about this trap war now. I just want to check what's going on over here, as we have ACCM walling in his stone, because I think JorDan was raiding that with Cavalier. I just wanted to see because I saw some blinking. In any case, yeah, both players still keeping their castles up. They both realize that if one of these castles were to go down, that does not bode well for the future for them. At the same time, ACCM building a university all the way out here. I think that was earlier, though. As the camel archer numbers are not growing, so it's mostly heavy camel riders now. It's not a whole lot of... Wait a second. Wait. What? Okay, a big fight being taken here, and this is not the worst actually, not the worst for ACCM. Look at the KD versus what JorDan has. So, you know, that's also because of the camel arch, because they stay alive. Actually, like, the heavy camel's still struggling against these freaking Sicilian Cavalier. As now the camel arch is going down as well, because they are not good in melee fights, and ACCM is getting pushed back further and further and further. As Cavalier now making it in. Oh, Bombard Cannon going down as well. That is an expensive loss for ACCM. Cavalier's running into JorDan, into ACCM's economy as well. So yeah, now ACCM has to chase that to weaken his front a little bit. And the Cavalier spam is not showing no signs of letting up. And looking at the resources for ACCM, not looking too hot for him here. His army count is half that of JorDan. JorDan also sniping at Trebuchet now. The castle of ACCM is getting close to going down because the amount of traps getting higher and higher here for JorDan. It's 4 Trebuchets now. That means you cannot repair this castle anymore. Well, you can, but it won't save your castle, as this castle does go down a lot. A lot of villages go down on the front as well. And this is just a moment where Berbers kind of seem to struggle against Sicilians. Because what do you do here? Like, the only thing you have really is heavy camel. And that's kind of it. You can go Cavalier, but it's not... You'd just be making more Cavalier that are worse against both your opponent's Cavalier and their Pikemen and Halberdier. And all JorDan has to do now is get that Halberdier upgrade, and he can have all the... You know, he can win all the fights that he wants. As yeah, ACCM taking that fight with the heavy camels, but as you can see, heavy camels, despite all their bonus damage, not a counter at all. And ACCM says GG, well played. And yeah, that was a clear and cut GG. And honestly, this game was played so clean by either player that I don't think really that either player really made a mistake here. I think this is just a case where the late game potential for Sicilians is just better than it is for Berbers. It just is. Like Sicilians have a very open tech tree. They have great infantry, great cavalry, great siege as well. Their archers aren't the worst either in the world. So yeah, Sicilians are pretty OP civ nowadays, and it's just hard to counter this. Like, the best counter to Sicilian Cavaliers is heavy cavalry. If you don't have heavy cavalry, you're in a pickle. Then the best counter is spamming Halberdiers, because you can make more of them, even though they don't really counter Sicilian Knights as well as they would any other Cavalier civ. Now, one thing that maybe ACCM could have done here is try to get some raids in, right? Maybe some SR raids from the side, because he was thinking about it probably, but he never got around to actually building those buildings. Another thing maybe was go all in here, right? Because if you know that Sicilians are going to beat you in late game, I mean, there's no guarantee, but if it didn't look too difficult for Sicilians here, I mean, they just have the better power unit, right? If Sicilians are going to beat you in Imp, maybe going all in with Berbers and Castleys, spamming a whole lot of Knights from like 4 stables, and overwhelming your opponent early on, which is easy to do with Knights because they're such a strong unit, that might have been a better strategy for ACCM, maybe. But I mean, it is first game, you know, you got to get used to the balance again between players. I mean, it also depends on JorDan not making any mistakes, which he didn't. Neither player made... You know, neither player lost their army early on. They didn't get any eco kills. It was only later on that the eco KD started to rise. And even then, look, only 26 villagers killed. It's not a lot of kills, honestly. It really isn't. Well, let's have a look at those statistics, shall we? Yeah, the KD slightly better for JorDan, but not... See, it was very close. So I wouldn't say that Berbers are completely outmatched here, right? Not completely, but the fact of the matter is, if Berbers win that fight around the castle, then they attack with camels. And camels are not going to kill villagers and TCs as fast as Cavalier would. when JorDan wins, his cavalry would immediately wreck ACCM's economy. So that is the difference, right? And ACCM could not go cavalier himself because that would be even worse than the camels in this case, you know, versus Sicilian cavalier. So that makes sense. Yeah, for the rest, everything was pretty much equal, although lots of conversions for JorDan. That might also have helped for sure. 14 conversions, that definitely swings battles in your favor, honestly. More resources collected for him as well. I think he had a few more villagers there working for him. Yeah, the vill max for JorDan was higher. He didn't lose as many villagers as well as ACCM did, so that will be the difference. Both players very close in APM as well. So, well, GG. It was a good, solid first game, I would say. Let's see if the second game. Oh, second game is already happening. Oh boy, man, we just don't get a time to brief, do we? Do we? He said, yeah, that's what you get when you cast JorDan. The guy is very, very punctual. So I've been told. Like, this guy, like, arrives in time. Isn't that the joke? Isn't that the joke that JorDan probably got up at 5 to make sure he was ready for this tournament? I think that would be the joke that people would be making. I don't know if that's true, by the way, but it's funny, I was still up at 5 when I had to wake up for this tournament. As we have a spec delay, so they should probably turn off that spec delay. That makes this a lot more difficult. But we do have some time to look at the draft a little bit more for those who did not get a chance to see it. So let me update it. We got a win for JorDan. We got a loss for ACCM. Losing with Berbers, not his first pick, right? So it's at least not, you know, you don't lose any of the other civs he has. Although, when it comes to Arabia civs, I don't know, I prefer JorDan's draft. I mean, duh, it's Britons, it's Franks, Huns. I mean, these are like your classic Arabia civs that just do really well in the situation. Especially Franks. That's just because they're an OP civ, honestly. I like Byzantines as well because of the trash war potential, which in a 1v1 is not a problem. Remember, I rail on Byzantines in team games because people like to go for trash, even though you shouldn't you shouldn't continue to go for trash in team games because there is potential for infinite gold if you trade, and there is likely to be a counter to you. Not so much in a 1v1. In a 1v1, you can spam all the trash that you want. As annoying as that strategy is, you know, it's nothing that pisses me off more when my opponent goes full trash. Not because I don't think it's a bad way to play the game. It's frustrating how effective it is, right? You're sitting here with your expensive gold army. You're like, yeah, we're gonna micro this stuff, and then your opponent just spams trash and doesn't even try to micro it. Really, you know, it doesn't really matter. It just makes skirmishers and halberdiers, and he's fine. It's the frustrating part is not that it sucks. It's just that it actually works. That's the frustrating part. Especially with Byzantine, it's cheaper after all. So. You know, like when I make Mongols, I don't want to be up against 100 halberdiers, you know. And then, I actually played a game like that. I was up against Byzantines. He did start spamming halberdiers. And trust me, having 60 Mankudai doesn't really save you there if it's 100 halberdiers coming at you at the same time. Yeah, I needed something in front, and Hussars weren't really doing the trick. But that's when I added Scorpions, and that worked. That worked. Anyway, I like Indians, though. Indians are actually are the top Arabia civ right now in win rate. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that either, but apparently so. Apparently so. Arabia Indians 1v1, I have like a 60% win rate or something. I'm not sure what the number is exactly, but it's really good. I've kind of snuck their way there, and it's funny because not a lot of people play that civilization. Let me rewind the tape because it already started while we were still talking. So, yeah, in any case, welcome to the second game here between JorDan and ACCM. And it looks like both players have gone for an Archer Civ as well. We got Britons for JorDan. We got Vietnamese for ACCM. Oh boy. I don't know what it is, because remember, these players, when they open a lobby, it is hidden civ. They do not know what civilization the opponent will go for. But isn't it just testament to the fact that these players know each other so well that they can kind of predict what civilization their opponent is going to go for? I mean, I'm not sure who predicted it here, right? Or whether they both predicted it, you know, knowing that their opponent would go for an Archer Civ. But it's just suspicious, right? How often this happens. Where when one player goes for an Archer Civ, the other player's like, okay, I'll go with you too. Now, if we are looking at archer civs here, which do we prefer? As we have a lame from ACCM, probably wants to level out the playing field a little bit here, as JorDan can see this from happening, but his scout is on the wrong side of the map, so he cannot really stop this anymore, and I don't think he's going to try either. So he will have to push in some deer now, which are... where are they? Ooh, they're around the wood. Oh, that sucks. That sucks. Look, you have to push him around the wood line now. That's awkward, to say the least. Hang on, let me just fix something real quick. Perfect. Alrighty. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, right. JorDan has to push his deer around this wood line now. He will definitely do that at some point, or go for the counter lane. You see that he might be going forward here. At least he might. I mean, it's not really JorDan's style, I think. Like, he likes clean defensive play. He's kind of like, you know, he's kind of a lot like the Viper in that regard. I mean, no wonder they were big rivals back in the day. You know, although I wasn't there back in the day, so I don't know. It kind of feels weird for me to talk about back in the day. I only read up on it. You know, I watched some of the old games, but unfortunately, I didn't know that the community was so awesome back then. I didn't know. No idea, but as soon as I figured out, man, I was on board with this. As JorDan brings in his Rhino, very nice, very clean. But we'll have to push in something, otherwise your economy is going to be worse than ACCM's economy, or at least. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, having early food for an archer civ is not the most important thing in the world, because you're not going to be using a whole lot of food. But it does allow you to delay your farms for a while. And delaying your farms means you can get your archer ranges up first, means you can get your archers out faster, you know, and then get your farms up faster as a result as well, you know. So it's really is a win-win, as ACCM is also walling around this Rhino, so no way for JorDan to lame this anymore. And I should think that JorDan will start pushing in his Zebra and Ostrich now to balance out his economy. Now, I mean, if you push in all three of these, you have about the same amount of food as a Rhino. But that's the thing. You have to do all this extra effort now to get the same as what ACCM gets standard, except ACCM gets an extra 400 food, right? So it's yeah, successful lame for him. Now, he will lose any scout war that happens here, right? Because players are unlikely to make scouts here. You know, having that early scout around is kind of nice. So JorDan does have that as an advantage, but it's a slight advantage, right? Should probably just quickly look at the players' maps here. I should expect players to probably go just straight into archers, maybe. Maybe JorDan might go for some aggression here, maybe a drush, maybe a man-at-arm play. We'll see. Remember also that this was easy to do for ACCM because he knew exactly where his opponent was. Like, you can always see your opponent's DC like this as Vietnamese. We all know that, obviously. Very nice. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, right. So we got forward berries for JorDan on a hill too, so that's an awkward place to have your berries. A forward gold for him, but his main gold is to the back this time, so at least there's that. It's quite wallable. The wood lines aren't too far away from your TC here, so it's quite good. As ACCM, if he hangs around here, he can totally stop JorDan from pushing in deer. And JorDan still managing to click up here before around the same time as ACCM. Look at this. Look at this. Both players up right now. Like, it's seconds of difference. Only because ACCM didn't get the upgrade, even though he could have. You know, like, that's it. These players are very close. You know, they're playing very clean right now. We got a forward gold, though, for ACCM, and that's going to be a problem. Another gold that he has in the back. So if he does wall this, you know, extends his walls, at least he can safeguard that gold. His other gold is further forward, so that's not really an option. Yeah, both players also not going for man-at-arm play here. If it was man-at-arms, your barracks would already have been up by now. As you can see, it's only going up right now as... Well, we're still waiting for players to send villagers to gold here. Because now it still looks like a scout build. You think that ACCM is like, I got some extra food out of that. Why don't I just go for some scouts and try to get some map control? I mean, it is 20 pop for both, well, 21 pop for both players, which is kind of early for straight archers. JorDan also not on gold. Really? Really? Is that so? We go, okay, there we go. There we go. There we go. See that? That's right there is, yeah, archer range for them. I was already confused a little bit. It was just a build order that I didn't, I mean, I always, I mean, I just follow a very old standard 23 pop arch straight into archers build, which is kind of slow, right? It's kind of slow. So if you can balance your economy to go up at 21, well, 22 pop, I guess, and then get your archers out, then that's of course preferable to what I do. It's not my best build, that's for sure. That's for sure. Anyway, it's gonna be archers for both players and skirmishers for both players too. So we're gonna open with some skirms here. So both players don't really want to commit to archers here. Maybe they both expect the other to go for a lot of archers and they just want to counter them and get up the castellates fast. Neither player is on gold, so I guess yeah, it's a decision made by either player here, and neither player really knows that the other player is doing it. I mean, JorDan hasn't scouted ACCM at all, so he has no idea what ACCM is doing. ACCM did scout JorDan, but didn't scout the gold, so he doesn't know if JorDan is on gold. So honestly, both players kind of going into this blind, right? I mean, neither player knows what the other is doing, really. I mean, they might guess, right? They might guess. Hey, I would be the last to say that if you're a professional player, that your experience might allow you to make assumptions like that are more likely to be true than the assumptions of the average player. This is true, but there's nothing like, as the scout for JorDan goes down, there's nothing like the security and certainty that comes with scouting your opponent. And also, JorDan did not know that the walls were going up for ACCM, because he was busy pushing in his deer, and those are some nice walls for ACCM as well. Keeps his stone safe, and there's a reason why he probably wanted to keep this stone safe. You know why. You know exactly why. Because if your opponent is gonna go for archers and Britons is likely to go for archers, then which unit can Vietnamese make that counters that? Exactly. Return archers from the castle. And that might also be the reason why ACCM is going for skirms. Because he doesn't want to invest into archers. He doesn't want the mass crossbows. He just wants to make sure that JorDan doesn't mass crossbows and then attack with return archers later on. Well, he is kind of outnumbered here, so he's running a spearman into these skirmishers just to get some extra health off, but JorDan is not going to let himself be distracted by that. Micros down the skirmishers for ACCM. Nice early kitty there for JorDan, as he had his skirms on stand crowd, so they couldn't attack. That's funny. And spearman will get away from this as well. Some skirmishers harassing the berries on the other side, but without fletching, that's not going to do much. JorDan did get fletching, so maybe if he sees, right, that these skirmishers do not have fletching, that should tell him a lot about what ACCM's plan is here. ACCM wants to get up the castle, and he probably wants to get a castle up as well. Probably. I mean, he's not on stone just yet. I mean, when you go to stone, like that's an important thing, right? You have to go to gold first. Right? That's the thing. But if the earlier you go to stone, as these skirmishers do go down, the earlier you do that, the more it hurts your economy. Say, when you go to stone with 20 villagers and you send 5 villagers to stone, that's a quarter of your economy on stone. Right now, 35 villagers, it will be 1/7 of your economy for 5 villagers. So, it depends. Haven't seen him on stone just yet. Well, we'll just keep an eye on that. It's my prediction, right? The fact he's making skirmishers right now, if you were seriously thinking about going archers, you would not be making skirmishers now. Unless you're that scared of the Briton ball. I mean, neither player should be making archers anyways now, because the opponent is going just full skirm. I mean, we have confirmed that now. JorDan has shown his skirmishes as well, so ACCM knows. ACCM showed he was only going skirm, so both players will know this. But there is more of an incentive, as you can see, for JorDan to make archers because he's Britons. And there's not really a good reason to go longbows here. Really isn't. Just think about it. I mean, that you get countered by rattan archers hard, because rattan archers can always get close to longbows with their extra pierce armor. They are the huskarls of archer civs. As ACCM is getting archer armor as well, so he's delaying his castellates, but he's investing in feudalates a little bit longer, maybe to get a good engagement here, and hopefully to catch JorDan's archers off guard. But remember, JorDan with 16 farms is gonna click up really quickly here. Well, not his 16 farms, I guess it's 13 farms, because some of those were berry. Oh, 16 farms nonetheless. Huh. Well, never mind. As we have a stable now going up for JorDan, he might want to make a scout or so, because he wants to kill this army first before sending out his archers, because it's just too easy to counter them. Clicks up first, though. A significant difference this time around. The difference is the archer armor. That's it. That's the difference. That's why ACCM is up later now, as he gets himself up to the next stage as well. It's only like what, 15 seconds behind. When you have a solid economy like these two players do, then differences like that are not going to matter a lot as well. As now, okay, so my prediction was not correct. ACCM is going to go for archers now. Is dropping a second range, but I wonder though. I mean, just think about it. Like, the enemies have archers with more HP, but Britons get more range in Castle Age, and their archer ranges work faster, right? So it's much easier for them to get a big mass of archers. That's the whole problem with freaking Britons. It's getting them to stop making archers, because they make so many. Those groups of archers they send forward get larger and larger by the minute. So I don't know, man. Also, JorDan also getting some armor for probably a knight. Probably wants to make a knight just to clear up these skirmishes. And ACCM can't see it. Lacks one range. Would have seen that stable. JorDan hiding it just well enough as he sends out this another scout. Remember, he made this because he lost his starting scout. He might just use the scout then. With armor should do okay against these skirmishes. As now ACCM is going to see that scout. Now he knows that JorDan has a stable. He knows now. A knight is going to come out as well. Crossbow's going to come in. Yeah, so ACCM trying to micro down this scout, but he will not be able to micro down a knight, that's for sure. At the same time, archers meeting each other on the hill. As JorDan is dropping a defensive siege workshop, and ACCM is getting elite skirmisher before he gets crossbowman. Getting all his upgrades right now, but yeah, by night. Well, at least ACCM will not be able to afford extra TCs for a while now. Whereas JorDan could easily drop extra TCs. He is Britons after all. It's half the cost. Elite Skirmisher not in yet. It's a very important upgrade to come in because it gives your units more bonus damage versus archers. Also more HP. So yeah, it's a very important upgrade to get. Castle Age crossbows can still kill Feudal Age skirmishers. You get wheelbarrow as well, so ACCM's economy is going to be very nice and efficient in a sec. But yeah, again, won't be able to add 2 town centers, that's for sure. Not yet. Now, not sure what. Okay, because he's getting wheelbarrow, he's going to be 3 villages behind. But I think that's a trade-off that I'm willing to take. Or I would be willing to take. Because think about it. You might have 3 less villagers, but they will be working more efficiently. All of them. So, and again, Siege Workshop does go up. And Mangonel comes out. And now ACCM will probably have to run away here with his skirmishers. And he's still not on stone. I don't know, man. I should really like to see a rattan archer switch here. I would like to see it. It's exciting too. I think it would make sense as well because rattan archers are stronger than crossbows. They do better against knights as well, although Briton knights, again, not really the biggest threat in the world. They don't have bloodlines. They do have the full armor upgrades, you know, but still, bloodline's still important. But having that last armor upgrade does definitely help Britons here. You know, a little bit. Even though the lack of bloodlines makes it difficult. The Mangonel gets an attack round in. Nope, misses. Nice dodge there from ACCM. Still killing a few crossbows here now. You know, you want to chip at the armor from your opponent. As ACCM has also dropped another archery range. Or is he just getting... No, he's just getting 3 crossbows at the same time from 2. Oh, never mind then. Yeah, it's very difficult, right? It's very difficult to kill a Mangonel with skirmishers because they basically just do 1 damage to this. 1 damage because the pierce armor for that the Mangonel has, as you can see. So yeah. As a shot, ACCM dodging again, very nice. Repairs coming in as well. Now this Mangonel can definitely not die to this. As very risky move there by ACCM. Confidently diving underneath the Mangonel shot. As now he's taking some damage though. There's some crossbows in there as well that probably he probably did not want to lose. As he wasn't looking at this. Yeah, the skirmishers go down, and now you have a problem because now you're already behind in the army count to the Briton player, and that's not gonna get better this game. It's not gonna get better, I can tell you that. I have a little bit of a counter rate though for ACCM, who actually manages to find his way into JorDan's base, but JorDan has knights prepared. See, this is adding a stable is not a problem, even if you have subpar cavalry. Like, even if you're Vikings or something like that, or Koreans, if you need a knight, get knights. Knights are great units, even if you don't have a lot of upgrades on them. They, like, all around are fine in every civilization, except, you know, civilizations that don't have knights. Get the first armor upgrade on knights, and a lot of them get bloodlines as well. So that's all you really need. Just for knights to be effective against skirmishers like this, yeah, it's not a problem. Not a problem whatsoever. So I really love that JorDan has continued to make has continued to make some knights here. Because, well, ACCM is making skirms. It's completely justified. Now remember that we have an extra town center as well here for JorDan. Coming up around the same time as ACCM. It's just funny how similar these players play, that town centers will go up around the same time as well. We have a siege workshop on the right side to defend this area for ACCM's base. This town center does shield your gold from the other side. And now he's on stone. Ooh, okay, awesome. Awesome stuff. He's been on stone for a while then, because he's already back on 300 stone. You know, that's 200 stone gathered so far. Yes, we have a mangonel. ACCM wants to get a shot on the archers. Yeah, he wasn't gonna get. I mean, he wasn't gonna get to these two mangonels. He wanted to get to these two mangonels, as JorDan positions his mangonels in a smart way as well. Look at that. It's just on this little hill. So now he does bonus damage versus these buildings. So yeah, that's really good. So ACCM pops out with some units, but he's not been making more units here. And this is kind of why I'm a little bit confused by ACCM's play here. I mean, just think about it. I thought what he was going to do is go skirmishers, right? To heal himself over in the feudal age, to make sure that the tower does go up. To make sure that JorDan cannot get in. Nice shot there for ACCM getting one of the mangonels. Make sure that he cannot get in. Make sure that his his archer numbers stay low, if there are any archer numbers. And there were no archer numbers. It was ideal. An ideal situation to go for rattan archers. But now he's just, you know, he doesn't have the same amount of army. And again, like I said, that army count is just going to get higher and higher for JorDan. Although he's not really making units right now. He might just want a boom here. As we have a mangonel shot. Misses. Britons, of course, have an easy time chasing mangonels, because they outrange mangonels until siege engineers comes in. But when siege engineers comes in Imperial Age, they're likely to outrange that as well. It's Britons after all. Another town center now for ACCM. Wants to catch up a little bit with JorDan, who has also added another TC on his wood line. But yeah, now that TC looks kind of weird. As we have some villagers on stone as well for JorDan. I don't think we're going to see longbows here, but having a castle of your own is never a bad idea with an archer civ. As ACCM has the hill. Nice shot from him as well, but it's 3 mangonels. 3 mangonels. Unfortunately, that mangonel goes down now. Doesn't kill another mangonel for JorDan, so he'll have to run away from this. I wonder, making some Vietnamese knights here yourself, maybe to snipe the siege, wouldn't be the worst idea here. Or some light cav, I don't know. It's not, again, with Vietnamese, also not the best, but you do have almost full upgrades on your cavalry, actually. Yeah, it's not the worst. Not the worst. Definitely not. I mean, that's why elephants are a possibility. So we have a 4th town center now for ACCM. I'm not sure if he's going to actually produce from this as well. You know, this is mostly to keep this side safe, as he has also stonewalled parts of his base. Just to keep the left side a little bit safe. We'll also give him access to this gold now, which is, of course, very important. You don't want to lose control of gold here. As he clicks up the imp here, has enough stone for a castle, and I bet that castle, he wants to get that castle up somewhere over here, preferably like right there. Oh, of course, better still would be on these resources so you can take them, but I think it will be like just on this hill right there to protect this gold, this stone, and stop this from happening. As JorDan is trying to macro his way up to the Imperial Age, he has more villagers than ACCM, right? Also has more idle TC time now. Yeah, so ACCM just not at 3 town centers at the same time as JorDan, which is why JorDan has a vill lead. But ACCM is up significantly before JorDan here, like a minute and a half. But this it's still a problem, right? Like, his army count is very low. It's only 15 crossbows, so it's not like, as the villager goes down, it's not like when he gets the imp he can immediately start pushing JorDan as well. So maybe Fast Stamp is a risky move, right? Is a risky move, as he is sending his archers forward right now. And JorDan, if he does not see ACCM's army at his base, as we have a guard tower as well for ACCM, very smart move to defend yourself against these mangonels. If we have a 1-for-1 up here, as yeah, JorDan should probably expect ACCM to maybe show up at his bases. Oh, look, this is why building random houses around your base is such a great idea. It's such a great idea. It's because if your opponent is just patrolling units, they're likely to start shooting at them. And now JorDan knows exactly where these archers are. His villagers are just in time. Will get themselves to this nice defensive hill in the middle. This is exactly a kind of position, a giant, massive hill. Exactly the kind of position that Britons want to occupy and start pushing their opponent from. Like, right there. That's the hill you want. In that case, we have... yeah, Bracer coming in now. I wonder, is he going to get the Arbalest upgrade, or is it going to be Rattan Archer still? He has a castle. He's still getting stone, but honestly, because there's no Rattan Archers on the field right now, I don't think you can afford... you can really justify getting Rattan Archer upgrades here. I don't think so. But he's not getting Arbalest. Still not getting Arbalest, and that's the thing, right? Yes, Arbalest with upgrades can kill this army, as he was lacking the food for skirmishers. Ah, alrighty. Well, I guess we're going to go for that other unique unit for Vietnamese, although anyone in the Vietnamese team can also make that unit. It is Imperial Skirmisher, which are objectively the best skirmishers on the field, right? I mean, Rattan Archers are better because they have a higher attack output, but Imperial Skirmishers is no joke. I mean, look at that. Kabam! 7 Pierce armor and 8 attack. Yeah, extra attack as well. That's actually not too bad. It's not too bad. That's, you know, that makes these skirmishers a lot more difficult to deal with. And I think ACCM doesn't want to go with Arbalest. He does not want to go with Rattan Archers. Instead, he's going to go full trash against the British Arbalest spam that is about to come his way. And I wonder how JorDan is going to respond to this. Because JorDan's skirmishers are going to be worse than ACCM skirmishers, like, just clearly, like, more pierce armor for these, more attack for them as well. And also the upgrades are already in for ACCM, which is pretty nice for him. There's lots of armies all around here, and JorDan right now trying to deal with 3 armies around his base, as you can see, yeah, but luckily for him, there's a lot of crossbows in here as well, which should go down to these skirmishers. But again, Imperial Skirmishers, no joke. And the thing is, because they have 8 attack, they can actually kill villagers. These Imperial Skirmishers are comparable to Castle Age crossbows. They do about the same amount of attack. Yeah, if not the same, actually. Yeah, it's 5 plus... What is the attack for crossbows normally? Or is it... Okay, I forgot. No, wait. Oh wait, we could check before the upgrade comes in. Yeah, see? Because it's 5 minus Bracer is 5 plus 2 is 7 attack. So it's actually better. These skirmishers are better than Castle Age crossbows right now. They counter Castle Age crossbows for sure. They also can kill villagers like Castle Age crossbows. So again, that's no joke. It's going to be difficult for Britons to deal with, as we have... Wow, what is this? It's like a castle creep here, as JorDan is trying to drop more castles. Dropped one right in front of ACCM. Tried to deny this castle as well, I think. We weren't really paying attention to this. As, yeah, that castle ACCM, unfortunately, is downhill from this trap, so it will go down. But as will JorDan's castle, and I think the second castle might easily go down as well. It's 5... Wow, 6 trebuchets for ACCM. He is not messing around with this one. And another castle goes down in that awesome position for Britons that they want to push from. They're not going to get to push from right now. Because, you know, JorDan is still busy dealing with all sorts of shenanigans in his own base. It's 103 villagers versus 134. ACCM looking really good here. Looking really good. I mean, score-wise, economy-wise, the kind of unit that he can make. And JorDan once again resorting to making knights here. But remember, Britain knights only get the cavalier upgrade and no bloodlines. So it's not ideal. It's worse than Burgundians at that. At least Burgundians get paladin. But you need something. You're going to need something. I think maybe getting onager here wouldn't be the worst idea, right? Like getting some onager will help you push maybe some siege ram or capped ram. I'm not sure if Britons get siege ram. I don't think they do. right? Siege, you know, the odd night or two, not the worst thing, but I think siege is what you need here. But can you afford it? That's the question. As we still don't have Arbalest for Britons. He might not even get that upgrade, honestly. As he's getting the final armor upgrade on the skirmishers. Maybe the most important upgrade he could get right now. Because, yeah. You have to keep up with the Vietnamese players somehow. As we do have some rattan archers now for ACCM. Yeah, how could one of the best Vietnamese players in the world lose when he picks Vietnamese, right? Yeah, I mean, that must be some sort of hidden bonus right there. As JorDan says, GG, because there's no way to stop this giant mass. 7 trebuchets rolling forward with an 8th one behind to start destroying JorDan's base. And JorDan's like, yeah, I got no castle, I got no gold control, I got no siege, cavalry's not going to save me if rattan archers come out, and Arbalest were coming out as well. Now this I do like, right? Recognizing that the threat from Britons mainly consists in their archers. I mean, we all know that. But if you are not going to get to make rattan archers, then switching into Imperial Scrum instead of Arbalest was the right call here. Because Arbalest, yes, would do... You know, you would have gotten to Arbalest faster than JorDan. But there was a lot of skirmishers on the field for JorDan as well. They would have still done a good job against your Arbalest. But not against your Imperial skirmishers. Those are much better. Much better all around. And after that, right, once you get a nice position, then you switch into a power unit. We even had some light cap that was about to come out from ACCM on the left side as well, just to start raiding these wood lines. Yeah, this was a nice game for ACCM. And wait, did I do this wrong? Whoops. This scoreboard has been wrong the entire game. My bad. So, apologies for that one. It's 1-1 now, so ACCM... And there's Chancellaro. Now the quartet is complete. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I said just a while ago, like, with everyone else showing up, I said, now we just need Chancellaro and we're all complete. And there you are. Good to see you, man. Let's have a look at those statistics. We got a much better kitty for ACCM, you know, this time, you know, significantly better than last time, because last time was very close. And pushing buildings as well. This always tells you who is actually doing the pushing here. And Britons, hey, they are hard to push with, hard to push, as someone might say. It's definitely difficult when you lose middle control, right? You want to snowball a push down the middle as fast as you can with Britons. So, more resources collected for ACCM. His economy was significantly better at the end. You know, boomed a little bit better. JorDan stopped creating a lot of villagers once he tried to macro his way up the Imperial Age. I don't know. You don't need as many villagers with archer civs, but still having 130 villagers work for you. Hey, no one's going to complain, right? No one's going to complain there. Again, the APM for ACCM is now consistently lower than that of JorDan. But again, APM doesn't win games. It helps you win games. Doesn't win games. But GG. And let me check if the third game is there. My god, these guys are just... They're just like done, and the next lobby is already created, and they're already ready to go. Jesus Christ. Well, at least that will help us, you know, keep up with today's schedule a little bit. You know, then it might not go hours over time like it did last week. Because that was a long day. That was a very long day. What was that? Almost 10 hours? Jeez. And let's see. There's the next set, and let's get into this. I will update the scoreboard in a second for the main page, you know. Wait, we have Spectre. What is it with this freaking spec delay? I thought that was like last week at least. I thought the idea was not to get spec delay, but I guess maybe they want spec delay for... I don't know. Well, in the meantime, I guess we can have a look at the draft once more. So let's see. ACCM winning with Vietnamese and JorDan losing with Britons. Well, I mean, I don't mind to speculate a little bit. Let me check Discord as well if there's something said about it. Blah blah blah. Okay, I don't think anyone said anything today, so nothing told. No one's talking about. No one's talking about the spec delay. So I guess Gratuity is okay with it this time. Okay, well I mean I'm not the administrator, so that's not my job. Yeah, as you can see, those are the sets for today. I don't have a nice schedule image. I didn't really have the time to find one. I'm not sure if they sent one out. I'm sure they did, but I didn't. I don't have one. So yeah. But those are going to be the sets. That's what the schedule command is nice. And yes, you did not miss the first series. You definitely didn't. Let's see if they're getting started. 13 seconds. Almost there. And luckily, of course, even if you do miss parts, because I also know that people, they come in and they come out, they don't necessarily stay the entire time. I mean, it's a long time to stay for sure. You can always rewatch the VOD. I'm not sure yet if I'm gonna upload these to YouTube. We'll see. As there we go, awesome stuff. So welcome to the third game now in the set between ACCM. A very important game as well. It's kind of like that middle game that kind of often decides who wins the set, right? Because the next game, the losing player will have to fight for their tournament life. Although this is not an elimination round, that's only next round. This round, it's just the first round of the group stage. Players try to win. Players that do win have a chance to get out of the group stage by winning another game, because if you can win 2 of your first games, you are definitely on to the next round. If you lose your first 2 games, you are definitely out of the tournament. But that's only tomorrow and the next day, not today, so not to worry for these players. Although, winning here, probably a good idea. Go JorDan. Alright. Got a JorDan fan in the chat. Alright, well, let's see what JorDan has gone for then. He's picked Byzantines. Ooh, interesting. I mean, I like Byzantines as a civilization. It's probably one of those OG civs, right, that everyone has at least played once because it's been around for centuries? No, forever. ACCM, though, has gone for Khmer. Ooh. I mean, Khmer is nice as well. I mean, they are technically a cavalry civ, more so than anything else. They can go for archers as well, but then you're kind of negating the major bonus that they get, which is, of course, the fact that their farmers drop off instantly, which immediately increases your efficiency. I can show you because I'll compare the villagers as soon as farms go down. I can compare their work efficiency, as you can see right here. You can click on this because this has been added to capture rate, which is really nice. We can see how efficient villagers are, and you can definitely see how much more efficient Khmer farms, in theory at least, should be. Now, I hope that when I show it, it actually ends up being the case in practice. Otherwise, it looks kind of silly, doesn't it? It should, though. It should. I mean, like the main reason why farming isn't very efficient is because of the walking time. Because villagers walk around the farm a lot. Well, Khmer villagers, they walk around the farm as much as a normal vill, but they don't have to walk back to the DC. So their walking time should be less, hence more efficient. But anyways, we should talk about the map a little bit. Just really short. I mean, there's not a whole lot to talk about because it's Arabia every time. We all know this map. At least, maybe not every version at the same time, but it's Arabia. It's like the bread and butter of professional play. We've all seen this. So we got a side gold, really, for JorDan. It's not really a back gold. I would consider this more forward than back, honestly. Like, as anything that's in front of the DC is kind of forward as far as I'm concerned. What's more pressing, though, is the fact that it's on a hill, and at the bottom of a hill at that. If it were on top of this hill, I would prefer it than at the bottom, because if it's at top, your villagers don't, if they're attacked, they don't actually suffer bonus damage from your opponent. But now, any archers on this hill are gonna be a problem. Let's see, on the other side, I have a back gold, though, for JorDan. That's really nice. But as a result of the map generated like this, the wood lines are further away, as you can see. So there's that. Yeah, and even though these berries are technically back, it's very open on this side. So it's not very safe anyways, right? It's not completely safe here anyway. So you still have to wall this if you want to keep it safe. Now, both of these players have walled a lot. I've walled significantly this series already. So I expect the same to happen. Although, wouldn't be the first time that pro players, they wall a lot and then one game they just randomly decide both of them to just not wall at all, It might just happen here as well. I mean, it's hard to tell for me. Ooh, but ACCM's base is, wow, this is like New Arabia. Except, at least he has a back gold. This other gold is close by it as well, but right next to a hill. Forward berries, not too close to a hill, but still, it's very open on this side. Not a whole lot of wood lines for ACCM. I mean, technically he has 4 as well, but all of them are back. I mean, this is This is like New Arabia kind of stuff, although that's now Old Arabia, I guess, but not as old as other old Arabia, so we call it New Arabia, even though it's, yeah, it's gone now. Yay. But, of course, and like I said, my problem with that New Arabia was never that the woodlines generated like this. That was not my problem with it, because that's... My problem was that this always happened. This was always the way that woodlines generated. And that's just boring, really. It's boring, because it basically creates the same kind of game every time. I understand that it does make walling a lot more difficult. I mean, ACCM is, like I said, he's probably going to wall a little bit, but I can't imagine he's going to go for the full walls here, because imagine the amount of space he has to wall here. He's probably just going to wall to his DC. Yep, that's what he's going to do. Keep himself safe. There you go. Right? But it's just part of the game, you know, just sometimes have a base that kind of tells you should probably go aggressive. And even though this gold is technically safe-ish, next to this giant hill, I don't think that ACCM can sit on his laurels here for this match. He'll probably have to go very aggressive here against Byzantines, even though Byzantines are a defensive civ, you know. But it's, yeah, JorDan's map is much more wallable here. You can wall between wood lines. You know, that's nice. But if this was always going to happen, a map like this, I mean, that favors the aggressive player, you know, a lot. And it just means that every game becomes a rushing game, which is, you know... That might be fun for aggressive players, but it just completely like makes defensive play impossible, which kind of sucks if you're a defensive civilization like Byzantine. Like that's what they're literally called, by the way, defensive civilization. That's a tech tree for you. As ACCM denying this archer range for now. ACCM JorDan wanted to get that down, but it doesn't get it down for now. Villager losing a lot of HP here, and yeah, the scouts that I expected to come forward from the Khmer player. Oh, they're going to come forward now. And the fact of going, you know, the weakness of going straight archers is always that it takes a while to get your archers out, right? It takes a while to get your mass out before you can defend yourself against scouts. Scouts are already here, and now the archer range has been delayed as well. So, looking pretty good for ACCM already, as the scout numbers will steadily increase here. Now, JorDan does... Well, he probably knows what ACCM goes for. He saw that ACCM was not on gold, so he also knows that ACCM is Khmer. And what do Khmer like doing more than spamming, farms and then just making a whole lot of scouts? Although we have an archery range coming up now, that might be, that is a counter to what ACCM saw from JorDan here. We could see some skirmishes then, maybe to defend and make sure it's JorDan quick walls in his villager. That's how scared he is of these scouts. He can't really stop these scout rushes for now. I also like where he's gonna wall. I like that. This woodline goes to the edge of the map, something that JorDan does not know. Oh, he's not gonna wall there then. He's not gonna wall there. He's just taking precautions. Imagine if he does though. It immediately makes his base a lot more safe, because ACCM will always have to go through the bottom here, trying to hit the gold. But there is a spearman there. Oh, please tell me he's going to wall to this wood line. It would be so nice if he does. If he walls all the way around here, I would be very sad. Very sad times. As we got a first archer coming forward to the berries, and yeah, those berries are a problem. A problem for ACCM, but he is making some skirmishers. It is only one archer so far, so you don't really have to run just yet. You can hide in this house, you know. You're Khmer. Hide in the house. And then send out your skirmisher. Kill it. Lots of scouts for ACCM, not doing a haul. Okay, now they're doing something again. Sitting in the back of JorDan's base, you know, just looking for a straggling vill to snipe. As well, I mean, JorDan is walling to this wood line, so maybe we do get to see good walls there. ACCM not with upgrades, so that was a good fight against a spearman. Ah, no, 2 spearmen too many. Ay. It's hard. I mean, it's still difficult, right? You're multitasking, trying to pay attention on 2 sides at the same time and make your economy work. That's 14 farms already for ACCM. Only 7 for JorDan. I mean, this makes sense. He's not making a food unit. So ACCM's food economy should be much better. He's also making more scouts right now, while keeping his army at bay with his skirmishers. Yeah, I still for now, I give the head start here to ACCM. Like, has more map control, it seems, with this military. But of course, the archer numbers will steadily climb, and that might change in a second. As scouts still running around trying to go, well, trying to do something at least. Not seeing a hole yet in this wood line, so those villagers are safe. Lots of archers over here as well, which he scouts good pounds on. That would be good for ACCM, keeping those archer numbers as low as he possibly can. He's looking for a straggling vill, and yeah, this village is going to get walled in, so that can't get sniped, but skirmishers can still hit it. But the skirmishers are needed against those spearmen right now, because those are the real problem. As JorDan trying to go for the spearmen or not. And that's one spearman that's already very weak. Now focusing down the archer, that is more important. JorDan also bringing back this forward army a little bit as well. Just to try to defend himself against ACCM. That's going to be defensive play for now for JorDan. Because, again, lacks that army number to really fight here. He can only defend. Luckily for him, spearmen are cheap. Because you're Byzantines. That's kind of what you do. Right? Now, I promised I would compare farm numbers. So let's just wait a second. While players are engaging here. We got more skirmishers coming forward now for ACCM. I mean, the skirm play worked a lot last game as well. And, in this case, it's very nice against these spearmen as well. Although this pesky scout that JorDan has left from the Dark Age is definitely making matters difficult here. You should probably maybe try to focus this down with skirmishers. He's getting upgrades on them as well. Again, gonna delay his cast blade by a few seconds as well. Not too much because his farm economy is exquisite. 18 farmers working overtime. Should still get up the cast blades before ACCM, before JorDan, I mean. Unless JorDan goes, macros like a god, I mean, selling his stone here to get up the cast blades fast. He evidently wants to get the crossbow as fast as he possibly can. Or knights even, actually. Or knights, because he sees a whole lot of skirmishers from the Khmer player. So getting a few knights out here fast would not be the worst thing in the world. Now, ACCM is going to be able to click up in a second here as well, but JorDan significantly ahead. But no stone, no town center, so that's a trade-off. He is now officially all in, basically. Let's have a look at the farming efficiency, just compare with villagers. Look how inefficient that freaking thing is if they have to walk like that. Look how efficient that is. And if you go to a Khmer villager, yeah, way better. Way better. They still move around, but it's less walking, especially for villagers all the way up here. They have the same efficiency as villagers down here because they never have to leave their farm. Whereas this villagers, look at this idle time. Look at this. This farm is 2 farms away from the DC. Look the amount of idle time that villager has walking. Yeah. He's only working half the time. What a lazy villager. I mean, that might change in a second, but still. Anyway, almost cast blades now for JorDan is getting armor upgrades first, so I guess maybe making some few knights or even some camels, honestly. Remember, camels are cheaper with Byzantines because they are seen as a counter unit, so it does apply to that as well. So having some cheaper camels, not the worst in the world. Especially when you expect knights from your opponent, which is exactly what ACCM is going to be doing here. He is Khmer. Wow, 2 stables here as well. Let's see if he's going to get some TCs up as well, some resources that are further away, because that is going to be a problem. That is still a problem for ACCM, right? His base is still less safe than is JorDan's base, I would say. For one, because JorDan has walls, and he vaulted a wood line. What a beast! What a beast! Look at this beautiful wall. Don't you just love it when a wall comes together? As it is indeed camels for JorDan, because so he wants a counter unit to the skirmishers, but he also wants a counter unit to potential knights that come out from ACCM. So I don't mind this actually. These are. I don't think this is probably not going to be the bulk of his army here. I should think it's still going to be crossbows. There's blocking these skirmishers as well, getting in a minimum range. Yeah, so ACCM losing a lot of his skirmishers right now. It's not going to get a whole lot of crossbow kills. This is really nice for JorDan. Really nice. Fast cast blades has, well, not fast castle, but a faster cast blades has paid off so far. But, yeah. Town center. I don't like this DC actually. I know you can't put it here because of the hill, but still. Why not put the DC nice in here, right? Like this protects your gold, the other side of your wood line. Much nicer. And this DC I don't like either. I mean, again, it's the best DC you could place on this wood line. It just doesn't fit, right? The market is kind of blocking the way as well. But again, you're not going to be able to farm. Oh, wait, I guess that doesn't matter for Khmer. Never mind. That part doesn't matter, being able to farm around your DCs. It still protects your villagers, though. And lots of camels. Already out for JorDan. He was in Castellates faster, of course, but yeah. Let's see. I think he bought a TC here. So he bought a TC. He's going to drop one because he does not want to fall behind in the boom. Especially not against a Khmer player. Because we all know that Khmer are very dangerous when they can get their farm count going and make a lot of villagers as a result. ACCM though will have to defend himself with some knights now, and unfortunately he is not Sicilian, so this fight should be okay. Should be very good for JorDan actually. And some crossbows behind, although... Hey, knights still, I mean, even though they're technically countered by camels, not so much in Castellates as we already noticed before. And not so much if you have way more knights and better upgrades as well. That +2 armor definitely helping you out a lot. And the fact that Byzantines don't get bloodlines, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So JorDan, that was an expensive, you know, even for him, expensive army to make. You know, Byzantines again get that discount, but his economy isn't as good as that of ACCM. Already on 55 villagers, only 49 for JorDan, and he's gonna fall behind even further because he's only on 2 TCs. He can't quite afford a third one right now, not in food production nor in stone. Yeah. So ACCM, like what is looking like right now, what I'm expecting from him is a lot of defensive play while he booms into a better army. Now with Khmer it's kind of tricky, right? It's kind of tricky because yes, you have a great boom, but your late game isn't the best always. At least cavalry wise, it isn't. Like your elephants are awesome, but I don't think you want to go elephants against a Civ that can spam cheap halberdiers. Your knights are alright, but not that great. Lacking bloodlines is a big deal. Lacking the last armor upgrade means your paladins aren't very good. You get camels that are cheaper, but again, same problem. What was I saying again? Oh, I was talking about Khmer having trouble in the Imperial Age, and then I switched to Byzantines having trouble in the Imperial Age. Whoops. But yeah, Khmer, like they are classed as a cavalry civ, but I wouldn't say that cavalry is really their strong suit in the late game. I think actually an infantry siege push is much stronger with Khmer, honestly. Already a Scorpion out as well. See? And why are these Scorpions OP, by the way? I'll tell you right there. 7+1 range, which means they outrange crossbows and Castellates unless they're British. So these crossbows have to be scared of these Scorpions because these Scorpions can actually range them from afar. And JorDan, I guess he's going to go more aggressive here. He probably recognizes, I'm going to be far behind in economy here. You know, I'm going to add my third town center on this wood line now. Interesting, this wood line instead of, say, this wood line. But I guess that protects this one as well. It's the T90 Pro strategy. Go for forward resources first so that you have resources in the back in case you have to fall back. But yeah, JorDan will have to go more aggressive here. He's not technically all in, but he's not going to be catching up with the economy for ACCM, which is just getting higher and higher right now. Yeah. I mean, this is a really nice hill to push from, by the way. It's a really nice hill in front of ACCM's base. It runs all the way along this left flank of his base. This gold is not protected as well, so ACCM really only has one safe gold right now. This gold is... It's safe because there's army here, but that's not the safest guarantee, obviously. He's also on stone. I like that. Maybe a castle up at some point. A castle right there would be nice. And, ooh, see? That's a nice DC. That's a very nice DC here. I like that. And JorDan will not know about that. And JorDan, yeah. It's going to come down whether if he can push with this army right now, right? Because the longer this game goes, the better the economy for the Khmer player will be, and the more military he will be able to push out. As this DC, oh boy, JorDan is getting close right now. Sees that this DC is not up, it's only on 70%. JorDan, you need to commit to this. You need to commit to this. This is a doubt DC. Is that even gonna go up? 93%. ACM clicking, right clicking as good as he can. 97. It's a doubt DC. Oh, it would have been such a nice DC to have up, but that is denied for now, and that's a disaster for ACCM because now suddenly he doesn't have the army to delay this, and JorDan finds a way in. Finds a way to damage ACCM, gets a few eco kills as well, and now it's 79 versus 71 villagers, and the TC that is about to go down to freaking camels. And ACCM as he's dropping while he's bringing his camels to the other side. Okay, well, ACCM counterattacking now with some knights. The monk, I think, got a conversion or not. In case, yeah, the knights sniping the seeds, also drawing the camels to them as well. So JorDan is spamming military right now, still trying to get this DC down. He's probably going to commit to it as well, because look at this. Why would ACCM ever delete this, right? Think about it. You're not going to get any resources from this, so that's basically just wasted resources. And suddenly, JorDan's position, not the worst in the world. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you need to do to come back in this game. And now it is 3 DCs for both players, and the bill count for both players is very similar, with JorDan getting 12 villager eco kills, and that DC is denied. And man, such bad luck. Bad luck for ACCM that JorDan decided to go to the left, right, and found that DC. That's fantastic for him. Second armor upgrade now coming in on his camels. Definitely something you'll need against the knights a little bit. You don't want the knights to kill you that fast. But still, camels are going to do good in this situation, right? They are still a counter. And it's going to be a wonder who gets up the imp first. And think about it, as ACCM is actually going to switch into pikemen now. Chancellor is unhappy in chat. Well, he's doing fine now. It's very even now, actually. The game is definitely even now. Like I said, I mean, what JorDan needed was something like this. Something to do pressure on your opponent. As he's just going to run into the left side of ACCM's town. Who was not able to wall this left side, obviously. And it's not secure either now. Again, no bloodlines on these camels, so they will definitely die to TC. So you definitely don't want to stick around too long here. The camels are trying to get out, but yeah, they're just going to get killed now. But yeah, this is the thing that JorDan needed. He needed some aggression. He needed to counter ACCM's economy. And ACCM is now only 4 villagers ahead of JorDan. So it's and all the map control right now is for JorDan as well. He's coming forward with military. And he's also the person likely to click up first to Imperial Age, because that is gonna be easier for Byzantines with a cheaper imp upgrade. That doubt DC hurt even me. Yeah, I know, 97%, and such a significant DC. It was very important. Yeah, that was difficult to watch. Now ACCM is going to delay his Imperial Age even further by going for a pikeman switch here. Now there is some crossbows on the field, so I think what ACCM needs to do here, yeah, exactly. Use your knights against those crossbows. Clear those up first. ACCM in response is now making more crossbows, but it's going to take a while before those numbers to get here. Which means in the meantime the pikemen should be able to do well. Ooh, nice shots by the scorpions as well. They're still going to go down probably to the camels now, but they got a whole bunch of them lined up. More pikemen coming out, but a few crossbows here and there, definitely making your life awkward with the bonus damage versus, well, as you can see, they get extra damage versus spearmen. Let's apply the pikemen then, because it says spearmen. I should spearman line probably. Yeah, it should still work against pikemen, honestly. We could check, but I don't wanna. Too much effort. Not my job. We got some beautiful Chimera farms out there, because of course you don't have to drop off the food. Still a spam going on from JorDan as well, so this game has devolved into a late castle onslaught as both players are getting close to a nice boom as well. You know, 106 village, 111 for JorDan. Da Prince, how you doing? Nico, good to see you, man. Good to see you. As yeah, again, and the fact that the JorDan, yeah, now he goes with the imp. Like I said, he sold some wood, goes with the imp, and is fast with the cheaper imp deck, and boom, it's going to be Imperial Age for Byzantines, and that's going to be a problem. How is this going? Even? Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say so. Both players have won a game so far, and I mean, ACCM was ahead in this game, but I definitely say he's behind now because of JorDan's very well played aggression. Also getting lucky, honestly, catching a TC for an ACCM on the left and then turning it into a doubt TC. A 97% doubt TC. As ACCM wants the castle up, and that don't tell me it's gonna be a doubt castle, right? As the mangonel's getting more kills, it's 80%. The crossbows are here. ACCM is committing with so many villagers. It will go up, but the cost of it. He's now 20 villagers behind JorDan. The equal KD hasn't been even close. Not even. It's 31-0. Not even a single time has ACCM been able to attack JorDan's main base. And I knew that ACCM's base was going to be difficult because it was so far, you know, so open, right? But JorDan is playing this well, and he's also just spamming trash right now. Yeah, that's just Byzantine things, I guess. As now we have just everything, a little bit of everything on the field for ACCM. Look at that. He's got some knights, some monks, crossbows, skirmishers, and pikemen. But he isn't an imp. And JorDan is going to be an imp in 30 seconds. Yeah, and I think ACCM knows that. And I wonder if he's going to continue to fight there. Because if he wants to survive here, he has to spam continuously. But what if it's going to be Arbalest for JorDan? What if it's going to be Halberdier for JorDan in a second there? How do you hope to win then? We have a conversion there for ACCM, and now JorDan makes it the imp. So let's see what ACCM is going to do here. Going up the imp is going to be difficult. He'll have to idle all this production. His farmers will get him up, right? Will get him up the imp fast, but it'll still take like 3 minutes to get there after you click it. As ACCM wants to drop another castle, 1-for-1 with the mangonels, but 2. No! He killed both of his scorpions. Oh, the bad luck with that. ACCM slaughtering his own scorpions, which would have been very handy against these pikemen. He's now sacrificing expensive knights just to make sure that JorDan can't get too close with the crossbows. Well, the castle will go up on a nice hill. Will also finally stop the freaking siege from coming out. But again, it's gonna be an uphill battle for ACCM here. Like I said, I prefer the Byzantine late game over the Khmer late game, right? Because the trash is cheaper, and it's going to be a trash war for now, that's for sure. I think neither player can really afford to go cavalry, but JorDan can afford to go Arbalest. And that's not something that Khmer can do. They don't get Arbalest. I don't think, or do they? They might actually get Arbalest then. Okay, ACCM is aware of these crossbows over here, which are attacking a university. Easily sniping the pikemen. Conversion might come in as well. Nope, monk goes down. Pikemen go down. ACCM though sending a whole bunch of military to deal with this. But I think now there's Arbalest as well. Look at this. Such a small group of military, and JorDan can do so much damage with this. ACCM has clicked up the imp now. Has clicked up the imp, but again, 2.5 minutes away, and there's 7 Arbalest in your base already wreaking havoc. Drawing a lot of military away from the left side, as on the right side they start to push now. A ram came out as well from another siege workshop. Yeah, so a ram push, not the worst. As ACCM again going for skirmishers, but you're not Vietnamese this time around. You don't have Imperial skirmisher to save you this time. JorDan also killing this army on the left, and now there's so many villagers that are exposed over here. Oh god, no, this is gonna be difficult. Very difficult. Bombard cannons coming out as well for Byzantines, because why would you go traps? You don't have castles, you know, it doesn't matter. We don't need Kappa frags here as well. I mean, you could make Kappa frags, but honestly, why? Yeah, as the gold gets raided, the TC never went up on this side. The stone is not safe. Villagers are dying on this wood line. ACCM just getting pushed further and further into a corner now, as bombard cannons take out important production buildings that he needs to get upgrades, to get halberdiers out if he wants to. He actually made an elephant. He made one single elephant. Do Khmer get every ranged unit and a blacksmith upgrade? I mean, they get every blacksmith upgrade. I'm not sure about all the other upgrades. I think they lack thumb ring, I think that's the only upgrade they miss. But for the rest, they get every upgrade. So basically, they have as good the archers are about as good as they are for Vikings now. Hehe. Too soon? Yeah, kinda. As the skirmishers going down to the light gap, some light gap coming in just to do damage like that. It's just not looking good for ACCM. He just wasn't able to stave off this push, right? Like normally, when you make more military and delay your Imperial Age, the reason to do it is to stop, you know, to overwhelm your opponent on the front and then push back, right? To push back. But that's not something that ACCM was able to do. And JorDan with very clean play. First some aggression, and after that, you know, once he caught up, keeping the fight here, keeping the fight on the front of ACCM's base, has done a great job. Like, great job keeping the pressure going. And now he has a beautiful hill right in front of ACCM's base to snipe this castle, the TC, some houses. This is such, that castle was important for a reason. But yeah, there was nothing that ACCM could do to keep this up. He's getting some upgrades now for skirmishers, which is just going to encourage the Byzantine player to make hussars here. As yeah, ACCM says GG, and JorDan wins the second game. And that's a match point for JorDan because he could win the game, the set in the next game if he wins again. Yeah, so 2-1 for JorDan, very nice for him. And deservedly so, ACCM, he got that early lead, right? He got an early lead in feudal age, that was good. Forcing JorDan to basically sell his stone to go all in to stave off that pressure, which he did. That was good defense from him. But then you're up against Khmer, who are going to boom like crazy. Boom like crazy. And get a more of a vill count for you. And JorDan went for the aggression. And I was definitely helped by the fact that ACCM did have a very ugly map. And this is very true. Very true. That happens sometimes. It happens sometimes. Should have played more aggressively? Probably so. You're going to go to 3 town centers. Honestly, at the start, maybe, it's inevitable, right? Because JorDan is all in, that JorDan should go more aggressive than you. And it was okay. Everything was fine until that freaking TC got denied. That was the turning point. Because then suddenly that bill difference was evened out. And then ACCM had to make military but was consistently outpopped at that by JorDan. Look at the army high. There's that difference. Look how much more military JorDan made as well. AD was much better in the end as well, so yeah. I know, honestly, if he could have gotten more aggression out, that would have been better, obviously, but yeah, the DC, I'm telling you, that DC was painful in a variety of for reasons, and not just because it was a doubt DC. Excuse me. More resources gathered by JorDan as well. His economy was not under any strain after all. Had more of it too. Oh god, I got the hiccups. Hang on, let me take a sip of water. That might help. Worst thing in the world, by the way, if your job's to talk, and then you get the hiccups. That's fun. As we had, what happened over here? 32 minutes. JorDan went full Leary with his APM. Jesus Christ. We could check, but honestly, we should probably continue on to the next game because they've been starting. Yeah, see, the next game is already here. They've been starting on time. I'm telling you, I don't know about ACCM, but I do know that JorDan is punctual as hell. At least that's the joke that's always being made. So, no time to spare. We have to continue. We have to continue here. Let me get into the 4th game. There will be some Germans. Some stereotypes are, I wouldn't suggest here the stereotypes are always true. It's a reason, why people, oh yeah, you don't like watching Twitch from your phone because you're 30 seconds behind the stream. It might also be because there's a lot of delay for my stream. That's something that I've encountered a lot already. So that might not just be your fault there, your phone's fault. But yeah, Germans, like what I was saying, I wouldn't be the first to say that stereotypes are always 100% correct, but there is always, usually at least, a kernel of truth to it. And let's just say that in the Netherlands, right, when I went to the supermarket, we have Dutch supermarkets, normal Dutch chains. We have a few German chains as well. And I can tell you that the customer friendliness goes down when you go into a German chain, and not because the people that work there are mean or something. That's because they're told to be efficient. You're not supposed to spend a whole lot of time on your customer. You're supposed to be very, precise with your work. You get everything over the counter, and then you're done. And that's just, it was a clear difference, honestly, between German and Dutch supermarkets. And it's not like Dutch, the Dutch are the most warm people in the world, but it's not as much about efficiency, man. When I'm on PC, I don't feel like I have a delay on your stream. It works perfectly for me, at least. Well, that's good to hear. Good to hear, because I do worry about that, with the delay. Because I like to talk to y'all, and it's difficult, of course, when you guys are 30 seconds behind me, because that makes the conversations a lot more difficult. Any case, well, we got the 4th game going, so let me quickly see what civilizations the players have gone for. Ooh, Huns from JorDan, but ACCM picking Indians. Aye, that is gonna be difficult for Huns to deal with. Indians are a challenge. Huns are always gonna struggle against camel civs, for sure. Especially Berbers, by the way. Berbers are the absolute nightmare for Huns. Like, anything Huns can do gets countered by Berbers. At least cavalry archers is not something that Indians can easily counter here, unless they go for their own. So this might be a challenging game for JorDan, but an important game nonetheless, because if he wins this game, he will have won the first round of, well, at least for him, get a win in the first round of the group stage, and that will position him, put him in a good position to actually go on to the next round. Whereas ACCM will have to fight for his tournament life next round if he loses this fight. So this is an important game for both players here. ACCM, if he wants to stay in the tournament, will have to go for a little bit of a reverse sweep now, a minor one, because he already got a win. Not technically a reverse sweep, that's when JorDan wins twice and then ACCM takes it home, right? And man, those comebacks are rare, especially at the high level. It's very difficult to come back from a 2-0, honestly. So luckily ACCM, he already, it's 2-1, so he's in a better position and has Indians now. But just because you have a civ that in theory should do well against the other civ, right? That doesn't mean that you necessarily win with that. It's also about strategy and decision making, and both players are very strong at that. And as JorDan especially is very strong as a macro defensive strategy player, I'd say. Between the two players. Although again, even if I compare players and say that one of them does one thing better, you still got to imagine that it's still infinitely better than the vast majority of players. So if you zoom out like that and compare it to other players, it's like there's no differences between pros at all, really. It's only when you zoom in on the absolute top, right, when you can see the details. That's something that I always like to keep in mind. Then we have ACCM scouting around for JorDan, but he's not quite nearby, but he should probably, he's not going to go north, so he should find that in a second. JorDan still doing the same thing JorDan does. He scouts his own base, and look how clean that is as well. No, not a lot of gaps here. Misses some of his goals, but that's it. Now, let's have a look at their bases, shall we? We got 4 woodlines again. Wow, it's been 4 woodlines every game so far. Even if the woodlines were terrible, it's still been 4 woodlines. Nice and evenly spread here for JorDan as ACCM takes a shot on his scout. I really hate this version of Arabia. You really don't like King of the Desert 4? I like it better than the new Arabia, as in when it was always woodlines to the back. But I mean, sometimes I wonder if maybe we could tone down the hills a little bit. That's a lot of hills here, so. Yeah, better than I think we can all agree that the new Arabia one with all the woodlines to the back was definitely the worst Arabia ever. But and in the end, right, the problem with Arabia is just that it's gotten a whole lot more desert-like, right? There's like this this person who did a post on Reddit, I think it was called the forum, or just the AOE forums. I'm not sure which one. It was called the desertification of Arabia, and he just compared the average amount of trees, right, and the distance of the trees to the town center, and it's gotten over time compared to the Age of Kings Arabia, we have gotten less trees on our woodlines, and the woodlines are getting further and further away from the town center on average, and more hills obviously close to the DC. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't play Arabia a whole lot back in the day, because I like campaigns much more, so that's what I usually played. So, anyways, we got an H marks a spot here for the forward gold for ACCM, and once again, his base is not actually as good as JorDan's. Look, 1 forward woodline, yes, but still, I mean, it's very open on the front, and these hills, of course, make it very difficult as well. Forward berries as well. It's going to be scouts for both players, obviously. That should not surprise anyone here. But yeah, back woodlines. The way that ACCM is walling means that he's going to go for a kind of small walls. I hope at some point he walls over here so he secures all these woodlines over here. That would be nice. Forward gold and another forward gold. So again, ACCM base, not the greatest for him. You know, not the greatest. I don't think he's going to be very happy about this one. As for JorDan, not... I mean, his base is better wood line-wise. Like, it's nicely spread out, so it's easier to wall around. And especially this wood line touching the back of the map as well makes it likely that if you wall here and here, that wood line will be completely safe. Whereas ACCM right now will not have safe wood lines, depending on how he walls. I do like that he's walling all the way out here. He might actually wall to this wood line if he sees it. At least there's that. Oh yeah, and then we have forward berries as well for JorDan. Those are some poorly placed berries for sure, right next to this hill. Very likely to happen as well. Forward gold for him as well. So both players have all their golds forward. So this is going to be... If last game was hotly contested, this game is going to be even worse. Because that's a lot of gold that's in the middle. You know, a lot of gold that is forward. So not a lot of, defensive luxury for the players here. We got some spearmen coming out for both players as well, just because it's going to be a scout war, obviously, as both players are trying to get their... Wait, did I say scout war? I didn't say scout war. What are you talking about? It's obviously going to be scouts versus archers. Archers with Indians, though. Interesting. Interesting. Because, I mean, like, you can easily just counter what the Huns are doing, right? And make some scouts yourself, as ACM loses his only scout, because he's not going to make any more. Instead, he's going to go for some archer aggression, but yeah, scouts are coming out. But, I mean, JorDan is committing to a whole lot of spearmen here, and it is also because JorDan hadn't scouted this archery range yet, so at least he is surprised. He should be surprised by what is coming out in a second here, because he's making scouts and mostly spearmen. Still hasn't seen that archer range, but now he sees that archer. Now he knows. Drops an archer range of his own, so that's the switch already. As the spearmen are engaging against one another, the archer gets poked to death almost. Of course, you want to keep that alive, because otherwise ACCM spearmen would not win, as ACCM is microing one archer here just to get an advantage in the fight. Yeah, it's still 2 spearmen versus 3. Now there's some scouts as well. The scouts are going to snipe the archer, and now it is a very even fight, but still better for JorDan, I guess. That zigzagging wall. It is zigzagging, isn't it? Now the thing is, he has wall to his gold. Like, I prefer to wall like that. I know it's more walling, but it keeps your gold safe, especially if you go archers. That's very important, you know. You need gold. If you get pushed off of gold, no production for you. Although less important than it is in 1v1s than it is in team games, probably. Yeah, once again, a situation in which both players are going to go for some crazy walls. I mean, look at these walls from JorDan. Those are some walls to write your mom home to. Well, write home to your mom about, at least. Look at these pretty walls from JorDan. They're so straight as well. Look how nicely rounded off that is. And in ACCM's base is just like a ragtag bunch of walls here and there. I mean, just be honest, his base is worse, right? But just the precision, it's almost symmetrical too. I mean, like JorDan. I mean, I know you're German, but you don't have to live up to the stereotype that much. It's a beautiful wall, though. It really is. It looks so pretty. ACCM's one is kind of misshapen at that, but given how his map generated, this shape makes sense, you know. Because you're likely to follow the hills with the walls. Because you want to get your walls on top of these hills so you don't get bonus damage from enemies on the hill, obviously. Or wall in front of your hill, that's even better. Even better, because then your units can sit on the hill while defending. That stereotype, yep. Yeah, it's of course... Now, for now, JorDan, I think, he recognizes if it's going to be a lot of archers, that's not really what I want to do right now. Don't want to make a lot of archers with Huns. I'd rather go for knights or cavalry archers. And it's going to depend on how his economy is going to turn out, how far ahead to castles he can get. As both players are walled, so it's going to be all about farm numbers. There's 12 farms for JorDan. Now let's look at ACCM. 12 farms as for him as well. Jesus Christ. It's just always the thing that amazes me with about pro players is that they can always... that they're so equally matched that usually they're just doing the same things at the same time. Idle TC time equal. Same amount of farms. It's crazy. Germans will be squares at all costs. Well, I mean, that's always a joke, right? That the German people have no humor. Although the individual Germans that I know, they were very funny. And like, I lived together with a German girl, in a well, not just one German girl. It was actually a house with 16 people for when I did my bachelor's at least. With 16 people in there. It was actually, yeah, it was 16 people. It's actually awesome. I really enjoyed that. But one of them in the first year at least she was a German girl from Hamburg. I remember that. She was really nice and very cheerful and kind of weird. She was definitely not a square, or at least like that. Like she was more like a goth girl too. So that was and that's why I always say, like, stereotypes, though they have a kernel of truth, like, you know, there's outliers in any case. Right? Doesn't make them any less fun, though. I mean, that's for me, is usually where a lot of humor lies. Like, when you say something that is just, it's funny because it isn't true, right? Yeah, it's funny because it isn't true in most cases, although it also depends on your audience. Anyways, we have JorDan going up the castle stage first. ACCM is going to click up right behind that. You know, going archers does usually lead to a slower castle time. I think it's just because going scouts means your early food economy is just better than it is than anything else. Also the fact, that JorDan just hasn't invested in a whole lot of units. He's just keeping himself safe, and he's going to go for cavalry archers. Oh yes, oh yes. I told you he either wanted knights or he wanted CA. And if he clicks up first, right, then going CA, not the worst in the world. Whereas ACCM is now dropping a stable. So is that either to make a few camels here against the skirmisher, or are we going to continue with with crossbows for now? Indians can go cavalry archer. It's an option that they have. They get all the upgrades that they need for it, so it's definitely an option to that you could go for. But Huns have cheap cavalry archers. That means they can get way more CA on the field than you can, and it's all about numbers. And look at that. Normally 3 archer ranges is the standard because you can't afford anything else. But it's gonna be all in cavalry archers for now. For JorDan. Because you're not going to be able to afford anything else but cavalry archers at the start. And it's because getting up your numbers first is the most important part about going CA. It's a good Arabia. In my opinion, the carpets tell you where it is to TC. This is true. And also there must be 2 Arabias in rank. One that is like this, more open, and a green Arabia for people who like to make walls and everybody happy. I could see that. I could see that. Wouldn't have a problem with that whatsoever. You know, it kind of sucks that the thing is that when you try to balance the map, it's that cavalry archers are just everywhere right now. ACCM is probably not happy about this one. Very much so. Has some crossbows, so it's okay. But as I was saying, it's like if you're balancing a map, like you're trying to balance a map for both aggression and wall play, right? The problem is it is kind of a zero-sum game. If you go for one type of playing, it's gonna nerf the other. Like if you make walling more strong, then aggression is nerfed. If you make aggression stronger, then walling is nerfed. Right? You can't really have both at the same time. Like that, it's a difficult balance to go for. So why not just have 2 versions? A wall Arabia and a not wall Arabia, or a green Arabia, as you might call it. Anyways, nice job by JorDan. Also, just sniped a villager in there that's gotten the first eagle kills in the game. ACCM going to defend with his crossbows, but it's definitely on the back foot here, and a lot so as well, because the cavalry archer numbers are growing steadily. A TC now going up for ACCM. Again, that is not a great TC because it's not that close to the gold, but it will keep his gold safe, and it's important for ACCM that he does secure his gold somehow, because, again, other golds, not safe. And this is not a TC that you want to be placing right now. Right there, so far forward, with the Hunnic Horde right next door, no. No. Yeah, I mean, I think it is impossible to please everyone, that's true. Like, just, whatever you do, and I think the devs will know that as well, there will always be at least a vocal minority complaining about it. It's just always going to happen. There's some light cap coming out as well for the Indian player, which, unlike Turks, do not have extra pierce armor. And, yeah, I don't know why we're making light cap now. I mean, I guess for booming, but I mean, look at the numbers already. Look at that. We already have 19 cavalry archers on the field right now. They could kill anything that ACCM could throw at them. And then you're stuck with camels too, right? Camels which have less pierce armor than a normal knight. Although with Indians, I guess it's not as bad as it could be. There's nice micro there from ACCM, but he does not have ballistics yet. Something he should probably think about getting. Now, I'm not sure if ACCM is really... if he really knows what to do here. Like, he's doing a whole lot of things. We have crossbows, we have stables, we're getting cavalry upgrades as well. Now, camels are coming out because the light cap didn't work. A panic TC on the back to secure this side, but that's never gonna go up. And I think JorDan is looking so strong. He is looking he's looking to close out this game. Like, he's getting ready, he's building those numbers, and the only thing he has to do now is just keep them numbers up. Keep them numbers up. It's just too many to counter. Yeah, exactly. Like it's too late. Like, ACCM was up later than JorDan, and now he's already forced to just try to counter with some camels. Camels which have upgrades, but only 3 pierce armor. It's not ideal. Now, when these camels get close to cavalry archers, though, they do a lot of damage. This is true. Like, it's definitely going to require some micro from JorDan here. He's losing some CA here and there, right? This is true. But this is also very expensive, right? Remember that ACCM is trying to boom on 2 TCs as well, which he has done a good job of so far. Only a 2.5 minutes of, or 2 minutes and 50 seconds of idle TC time. And ACCM is just like, yeah, no way. Too many cavalry archers. More cavalry archers come to the front. You know, when you see this, that's not an encouraging sight, now is it? That would have probably been a siege workshop as well, or something. And he says, GG, well played. And JorDan takes the first set of the day in a very even set, I would say, against ACCM. Like, the first 3 games were very close. The third one, not so much. I mean, ACCM just got outplayed. That happens sometimes. And then, yeah, JorDan just went greedy and went for CA. And it's just hard to deal with, honestly. So good job by him. And perfect stuff. And Hunt CA are pretty cheap indeed. That's why you can go for archery range here. And you still have to go 1 TC because you cannot afford, right? You cannot afford to go multiple TCs here. There's too much wood, too much food investment. You just can't. But hey, that's why the Hun cavalry archer all in is so potent. And I think that's why I like JorDan selling his stone to get up faster, right? ACCM also sold a stone. No, actually, he just dropped TCs. Never mind. Yeah, ACCM didn't sell his stone, so he was up significantly later to Gaslight, and then you're just behind from the CA, and there was just nothing to defend, honestly. And if you have a lot of skirmishers out, that might have dealt with, but my god. Who cares about villagers if you're just going to use only gold, only wood or gold? And this is true, right? I mean, that's the thing. With Huns, you can afford, right, 4 TC production with your early vill count, right? That's why it's so strong. Like, any other civ would get less cavalry archers out. It's exactly the fact that Huns can flood your opponent, and that's exactly what we're like. Get good or get flood, huh? There's some food to get some, exactly. Like, you do need food for the Buccaneer upgrade, obviously, and you need bloodlines, you need thumb ring, which is an expensive upgrade as well. But that's, I mean, again, the amount of farms that JorDan has, 12, is good enough for that. Good enough for that. Oh, you like my little quote? Did you know I have a command for that as well? Is it this one? Yes, there you go. See, Nightbot knows about it as well. Oh, you probably can't use it. There's probably like a cooldown on that, actually. But if you feel like using that, you're always welcome to. It's right there, of course. I just like to comment a little bit, you know, because usually the whole get good kind of thing is kind of yeah, I don't know about what to think about that. I mean, getting good, if you want to perform at a pro level, yes, but most people, of course, are casual players, so getting good is not really high on their priority list. Really look at the statistics as well. Yeah, good KD there for JorDan. I mean, again, it's just absolute domination with cavalry archers. There was no way around that, honestly. Even a better economy, even though his economy should fall behind that of ACCM. And that wasn't even the case, right? It wasn't even the case. ACCM was never able to get his economy rolling. It's just too fast. Too fast. So good decision by JorDan. Good decision by JorDan to just go for CA and boom, just overwhelm your opponent. And then that allows me to use that command.